Hello, this is Laura Live, and this is the third try today, and I think I've got really, really good reception now. Maybe not. Anyway, this is the best I can do, so hopefully we can get this done. So anyway, if my kid's talking now because of Gemini, can I stop? And the answer is, well, is he 2 years ahead academically, and is he participating socially like a typical child? And I'm going to tell you about my son. I'll start over again. So Max was nonverbal. A lot of people know that. That's why I started discrete video modeling, DVM, in the first place, to get him to talk. When he was 5 years old, he had about a 3-year-old vocabulary level, which a typical person would have just thought he was like any kindergartner, but he was really still 2 years behind. But it took him till he was about 7 or 8 to catch up in this test. You want to make sure if you say, my child's talking, is he testing at age level? Is he testing in the 50 percentile or higher? Not, does he sound like a kid? First you want to make sure you get the tests. And then, because it fools parents a lot of time, especially if you're used to a nonverbal child and now he's answering questions, you think, he's cured. I know, I kind of went through that myself. And actually, no, when you finally do the test, you see, oh, he's still pretty low. By the time, so he caught up about even, and then when he was 14 he scored gifted in language. And what I don't want to depress anybody out there, because I know everybody's focused on language, especially when they're little, but I just want you to know that language is the easy part. Socialization is much more difficult, because video modeling only goes so far. We can teach somebody with video modeling what to do, how to act, what to say in certain situations, but we can't teach them the innate desire and automated response that happens when you have I guess you could, typical social experiences that's just automatic. They have to be taught, and they practice it over and over again. They eventually become automatic, but it takes practice. And when you have a teenager or even a preteen, they're going to need a ton of work on social skills, ton. And if you're still working on academics, that's sort of the basis. That you can't really work on social skills if you don't have the academics up. You're not going to be able to have the time to put into social skills. If he's 2 years ahead academically, first off, it's going to give him the confidence. Everybody's going to say, oh, he's a smart kid. He's the little genius over there. That really helps when you're trying to talk to people, if everybody thinks you're a genius. First. Secondly, it's going to give you and the teachers and the therapists this sort of mental calmness that they can relax on the academics and really focus on social skills. If you want a fully independent, functional adult, they have to have intense social skills training. And if you're stuck on academics, even if you're just at grade level because he's just trying to keep up with everybody, it's going to be hard to do. Now, when they're little, it's a lot easier to get them 2 years ahead. This was what I did with all my children, because I humbled them all. So when my twins were diagnosed with autism, the older children were 4 grade levels ahead of their peers in every subject. And so I could kind of relax on them a little bit, and I just had them going at a normal pace, which still kept them 4 years ahead, and I could focus a lot on the twins. So I saw what benefit that had with my older kids. See, my oldest son went to college when he was 16, and his sister, younger one, when she was only 14 years old. And they did go live away. They went to a community college, stayed home, and community college home like a job. It's not a lot of socialization. They just went to school and did their work, and they both were Phi Beta Kappa honor roll, really great, astounding students. And this is even with me having kids on the spectrum. It's because when they were little and it was easy, I pushed them really far ahead. And how do you do that? I really didn't think it was not, we spent maybe 4 hours a day in school. They still spent way less in school than they did if they had gone to school. But it's just, we had school in the summer, we had school on the weekends, not Sunday, but we had on Saturday. We used a lot of video then, even to get them caught ahead. A lot of writing, like every day they had to write a 5-paragraph essay, and so they get to write them in their sleep. So it was easy, so, but as far as go back to Max and to Gemini. Because of video modeling, I was able to get and use the time during when he was eating, time in the car, to that all adds up. And he got further and further ahead academically than his peers. And so we can focus when he's a teenager on socialization. Now, when he was a preteen and an early teen, socialization was much more difficult for him, and he was less interested, and his eye contact had huge eye contact issues. It still really was painful. And so he was so nervous about making eye contact, it was hard for him to make friends. As he's gotten older and he's practiced a lot more, his eye contact is great now. He's almost 20. He wants to be social. He likes to talk to people. He strikes up conversations. That was late in developing. And had we still been working on academics, we would never have gotten as far as we are now. He went to college when he was 16, and he's still in college. We took a year off because was so far ahead. He just wanted to take a year off to relax, and he's been working, and so he's gotten a lot of skills through work. And he went through a social skills program called Peers through UCLA, which I suggest anybody could find that. It's a really great program. But, we've been focusing on social skills because I didn't have to on the academics because he was so caught up. Now, if they're older and let's say you're in high school and you try to push yourself 2 years ahead, that's kind of late to do that. You're not going to get 2 years ahead in the car back and forth to high school and on the weekend. It's very but if you're in first grade, second grade, third grade, pretty much all the way through fifth grade, you can by using summer vacations and car rides. And you just have to be really have to plan it. And that's why Gemini content, it gets pretty advanced. And even if you just stick with the advanced vocabulary, there's so much to be said for a kid that has a lot of self-confidence, that knows he's the smart one. And that everybody that he knows, he always say, oh yeah, he's a smart kid. Oh my gosh, this kid's a genius, just listen to him. And it's because he uses vocabulary that he's learned on Gemini. Americans specifically have very small vocabulary. Their ken is, they only use, like 2,500 words. I mean, it's a really small vocabulary. So if you have a wide and specific vocabulary that the typical American does not have, just by talking to someone in the first 5 minutes, you can see that. And your first impression is, he's smart, she's smart. And then when you learn later on they're autistic, you're like, cool. Was I like those big brain brainiacs? Is that what this is? That's cool. I want to go talk to him. He's probably really interesting. Probably knows a lot of stuff. You get a buy, so to speak, on your socialization issues if people know, oh, he's a brainiac. So, sometimes brainiacs are a little awkward socially, but man, you should listen to this guy. And it really does help. That's what, with my twins especially, they were always known as the smart kids. And it helps confidence. We used to go play Trivial Pursuit at a restaurant all the time. So that really helps with socialization if you're confident. So that's it. I use Gemini myself. I use sequential processing myself because after going through menopause, my memory is shot and I use it. It's been helping. I use the advanced vocabulary because also as an American, I'm not reading Jane Austen anymore. I'm too busy and all I hear is other Americans talking. So we don't use a lot of big words over here across the pond. So it helps me a lot with my vocabulary to just kind of reboot it all the time. And I just put on the advanced vocabulary just randomly. Sometimes I won't even make a session. I'll just go through and watch some of the videos just to have it fresh in my mind. I spend like 15 minutes every other day and doing it, and it helps with writing and everything. But so I know there's a temptation with parents with little kids to think, if I could just get him talking, my life would be perfect. It'd be all sunshine and rainbows and unicorns. As soon as he's talking, everything's going to be great. And like I said, I don't want to depress you, but that's the easy part. The socialization is much harder. And if you've got the academics out of it, what am I talking about academics? I'm meaning reading, writing, arithmetic, and working memory. So math and language skills at that age level. So memorizing all the math facts, including the times tables, all the parts of speech, all of the grammar stuff, all of the vocabulary, writing skills are down. And working memory is at least above a 7. I know that seems high. A lot of adults, typical adults, don't get it. But when you have a child who has dyslexia or autism, the bigger the working memory you can get it, the better it's going to be for them, the easier it is going to be for them going forward. Even Max at 20, he's been doing sequential processing for years, and he's just barely at a 7. Even though he's got this amazing memory, longer memory. He can remember, like we call him Maxipedia, incredible amount of facts. But recall, that short-term memory where you recall, is very difficult for people with autism and with dyslexia. So you want to make sure as high as possible. My 7th child has dyslexia. He's 4 years old. We started him reading really young. We've been working with memory, and at a 4-year-old, he should have a 4-digit span. 2. He's up to almost a 5. He can do a 5 half the time now. And that's so it's working and is improving dramatically. So keep at it. We want to do some sort of a program where after you've been using Gemiini for a certain amount of years, a price goes down to a maintenance level where you're just using it as sort of like your buddy you use forever, and the price is drastically cut. And we're working on that plan right now, how to do that. We may work that through schools or something like that, because I know it's not life changing at that point, but it actually could be from the point of view as an adult. If you have a 9 or 10 working memory, and if you have this huge can of vocabulary as an adult, you're going to get the job. You're going to keep the job. You're going to remember the tasks that they give you because your working memory is big enough to keep all those things in your head. You know, there's lots of things that are important all through our lives, and we forget as adults. We think, okay, that was a pain in the neck. I don't want to do that anymore. Get it down to routine. It shouldn't be that big of a pain in the neck. It just becomes something you do. You put on your seatbelt, you turn on your tablet. That's what I do with mine. My 4-year-old, he's always, in fact, if I don't have my tablet with him, I feel like I'm driving without my seatbelt on now. If it's not going in the car, I feel that's weird. What's missing? Shoot, the tablet. And I turn over and turn it on and give it to him. All right. So that was a long-winded Laura Live, but I will see you on Friday. Don't forget to subscribe and share. Bye-bye.